right here where it's darker, right?
Okay, so those would be the renal pyramids, yes ma'am.
So it's the same thing, the renal pyramids. And so if you pointed right here and we put
Renal medulla, you get it right. However, if I point right here and you tell me renal medulla, I'm not going to give you that.
no, we know
That's a
that.
renal
That's a
column.
renal column.
That's a column.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Can you go over
This-
the whole thing?
Okay, sure. So you've got your capsule on the outside, right? You
Yes.
guys see capsules on the outside. And then right below the capsule, you've got your renal cortex. And even though you don't see the dye going all the way through it, the veins and arteries go all the way through it everywhere you see that. The dye just didn't get far enough. Remember we talked about how much back pressure there was in the kidneys, and it drops your blood pressure by a lot? They couldn't force the dye all the way through it because there's so much back pressure. This is just as far as it got. But it's really everywhere, okay? So here's your renal pyramids, all of these darker spots, and in between those renal pyramids you have your renal columns. Okay, at the tip of each of these renal pyramids, you're going into your renal calyces. Now, you guys don't have a great
This one's
visualization for those. I'll grab this one over here then. Okay, so you can see how your renal pyramid will dump into a renal calyx in this area here, right? They'll dump into that, and then the calyces will dump into major calyces. And you guys, looks like you've got a renal. Yeah, this is your renal, part of your renal pelvis here. You see how that opens up? That's the renal pelvis itself. So the calyces dump into the renal pelvis, and the renal pelvis dumps into your ureter. Okay, so you guys can see how that opens up, and it's fairly large, right? You guys
So
see
is
it?
this the renal pelvis also?
It could be. Depends on where it is. Yeah, this is the renal pelvis. This is the end that goes into the ureter. You see it open up?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is where the renal pelvis dumps into the ureter here.
So the white stuff is the calyces?
The white stuff would be your major calyces dumping into the renal pelvis. For the most part, you're going to see all of that, and it's collected in the renal pelvis and then dumped through the ureter, which would be coming out of the kidney itself. Okay? So that's the major parts of the kidney. Okay? If you know those, you're going to be in really good shape. Remember, the loop of Henle is going into the renal medulla. Most of your glomerules are in the renal cortex itself. Okay? That's the kidney in a nutshell. Please go over and take pictures of the bladder and